Many of us have planted blue spruce trees in our garden or around our home. Most of them look like this, nice and healthy, but many of them have been declining and dying back. And in many cases, it's caused by a fungal disease known as Cytospora canker. And it works its way up from the bottom, if you look here behind me, the tree, and the needles start falling off from the bottom and it goes all the way up to the top of the tree. The problem with this disease is there's no cure. I've researched it, I've tried different fungicides, I've sprayed these trees in my garden for no avail. Nothing has really worked. The key is going back to drought periods that we had maybe 10, 15 years ago. That is what started the onset of the disease. It puts the tree in a state where it becomes susceptible. So remember, with your blue spruce trees, when you're headed into drought seasons, you want to go ahead and make sure you irrigate and you feed them with a Spoma tree tone, and that should help them. At some point, you're just going to have to remove them, like I'm going to have to remove these, and replace them with a disease-resistant tree. One of the telltale signs for this canker is sap starts oozing out of the main trunk of the tree. And there's other places here, and as you look up, there's other places where the sap will ooze right out of the tree. The sap is not oozing because I pruned the branches back. The sap started oozing before I pruned these branches. What I've had to do is just limb them up, cut off the dead branches, but this is what the branches look like starting at the bottom. They start losing their needles from the inside of the branch all the way to the outside. Then it works its way all the way up the tree. Once you're at this point, like this tree, the only option you have is to remove it, or at some point the wind's going to blow it over because the lack of the root system's been failing. But again, irrigate them during drought periods and hot periods in the summer. Behind me, well, it was a dwarf blue spruce, bird's nest blue spruce, but one of the dwarf varieties. Well, after 40 years, it's really not dwarf, but it was affected by a disease. It's different than the canker. This is known as a disease that occurs in the spring, and it's called needle cast. And what happens is, over time, all the needles are dropped. It usually starts from the inside, works its way out. This is controllable with the fungicide. You have to spray something like Bonides Infuse, but you need to spray it in March. And at this point, we're just going to remove it and replace it with something else. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.